Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Chenelle, the owner of 3 Balls Handmade Soaps and More. And in today's video, we're going to be making this French pink clay soap. Alright y'all, so as always, I like to show you guys what I will be using. So today we're working with some French pink clay. If I can grab it, we're working with some French pink clay. And I personally like the French pink clay over the rose clay. That's just my own personal preference. I like, it gives me a very pretty pastel pink. This French pink clay does. We got some bowls right here. I actually need to grab another bowl. And we have our small loaf. I have my square container here as well as my Lone Spot pitcher. Got me some gloves. I need to have my mask and my eyewear. Oh, I have my protective eyewear right here, but I need to find my mask. So we have my thermometer, my scale, some spatulas, some measuring spoons, as well as my stick blender, and everything out here on the table will be linked in the description for anyone that is interested, and I will also have the recipe down below as well. So I'm going to clean off this table and then we will go ahead and get started. Alright, so now that my table is cleaned off, now we're just going to go ahead and start weighing out our ingredients. And for this soap, I do have 5 different oils. Well, I have shea butter and then the 4 different oils. So for a total of 5 different ingredients. And with this soap, when I use the French pink clay, I like to keep the oils, I like for my oils of choice as well as my butters to be you know, not so dark, because if you use, like, for example, if you use cocoa butter in here, if you use the cocoa butter that is yellow, or you find the shea butter, the raw shea butter that is yellow, then chances are you will not get a very pretty pastel pink. You're most likely going to end up with a different color. I'm going to finish weighing out these ingredients. And again, like I said, I will have the recipe listed down below. So far, I've added some shea butter, and now I am working on the coconut oil. And you can always, if you don't want to use coconut oil, you can always substitute that for babasu oil. Just remember to run that back through the soap cow if you decide to substitute anything. And some of you may be wondering why I use a lot of bowls. That is just because if in the event I mess up, for me it's a lot easier to correct versus pouring everything, versus weighing everything out in the same container. If I mess up, I have to literally get rid of the whole thing, because at that point I don't know what I can take. You know, everything is just blended at that point. So I'm just kind of, you know, so I prefer to use as many different bowls as possible. And if y'all hear noise, they are doing construction on the street behind me, so just bear with me, please. The day that I decide not to do a voiceover, they're doing construction. So, but anyway, so if y'all hear that noise, that's what that noise is. They are doing work on the street behind me. So we have one more oil to weigh out. So what I am going to do is go ahead. So far we've weighed up our coconut oil, our shea butter, our avocado oil, and our olive oil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and scrape this into there, pour this into there, so that way I can use this bowl, because I don't know where my teeny tiny bowl is, to add the castor oil in here. Now, and I like to melt all of my oils and butters at once. You don't have to do that. You can definitely melt your shea butter first and your coconut butter first and then add in your other oils. But me personally, it's just a lot easier. I just dump them all in there together and just melt them all at once. So we're going to scrape this out, and then I'm going to put my castor oil in this container here. Okay. All right, so now we have all of our oils weighed out. Now it's time for us to go ahead and start working on our sodium hydroxide. Alrighty, and so now we're on to our distilled water, and just always make sure that you're using distilled water, not water from your sink when making soap. So we went a little bit over. I poured too much out. Okay, 540. I went over again. Okay, so if I go over this time, it is what it is. Okay. Oh, all right. Now that we have everything measured out, we will now go outside, or you can go to wherever your well-ventilated area is. For mine, it is outside. All right, so once I was outside in my well-ventilated area, it was then time for me to add this sodium hydroxide into my water. Never add it the other way around. Never add the water to the sodium hydroxide. Always add the sodium hydroxide to the liquid of your choice. So once I did that, once I added the sodium hydroxide to my distilled water, I just continued to stir it up until the sodium hydroxide was dissolved. And when you're working with lye, you want to make sure that you take the necessary precautions to protect yourself. You know, your gloves, your mask, your protective eyewear, your long sleeves, closed-toe shoes, pants, all that good stuff. Definitely suit up because you don't want this stuff to get on your skin. So now I just, like I said, I continued to stir this, and I'm just going to continue to stir until it turns clear, and then we're going to check the temp. All right, so right here I'm checking the temp, and we came in about 183 or so. So after that, I just let it sit outside for maybe like 1 to 2 minutes before bringing it in. All right, so now that we've got our water lye solution out of the way so that way no one can touch it, now we're just going to melt down our oils. Now I like to just get a pot and, you know, fill it up with water, or at least until the water touches the bottom of my stainless steel bowl here. So we're just going to heat our oils until everything is melted. You do not want to boil the oils. Your oil should not come to a boiling point. You just want to melt them. So we're going to go ahead and melt these down. And if you have to, you can always, like how I have this kind of like chunk of shea butter here, you can always kind of break this up just to help it melt a little faster. So again, you don't have to melt all of your oils together. You can easily do just shea butter and coconut first and then throw in your liquid oils. However, my personal preference, I just like to go ahead and melt all of mine down together all at once. So that's just me, but we're going to melt these oils and then we'll be right back. All right, y'all, I almost forgot my olive oil. I'm like, wait a minute, this don't look like the full recipe. So I forgot the olive oil over there on my table. So I had to run and grab that. So now we have all of our oils in our stainless steel pan, and we are just melting them down on the stove. Now you don't have to use a stove. You can always use a microwave, or I think it's called a hot plate. So you can always use one of those. I have one. It's out there in my shed. I'm not going to go get that right now. So we're just going to do this on the stove. So again, you don't have to use a stove. You can also use the microwave or a hot plate. So I'm going to be back in a sec once these completely melt down. All right, y'all. So now our oils have melted down completely. So what we're going to do now is just turn this off and remove it from the water. Be very careful because it is hot. And then I'm just going to let it sit in this stainless steel bowl. I'm sorry. I'm going to let my oils sit in the stainless steel bowl a little bit until they cool, and then I will transfer them into my square container. So now our oils and stuff are still cooling. However, we are just going to check them just to see where we are. Let's see here. So we are at 100 right here. And our water loss solution is at 110. Now, some people like to go lower. Some people will go a little bit higher than this, around the 120 range. Me personally, I like to be around 100 degrees or lower. Then you also have others that like for their water loss solution as well as their oils and butters to be within 10 degrees of each other. You be the judge of that. I'm just gonna say that you can be the judge of that if you like for your oils and butters to be within 10 degrees of each other. Me personally, I like to work with mine within 10 degrees of each other. So, and that's just me. So I'm just going to add my oils and butter into my clear container here, and then we'll probably go ahead. I'm probably going to wait till this cools down, till my water loss solution cools just a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and combine them together. All right, so now I'm just going to add my oils over into my clear container. And if I was just doing this not for the video, I would definitely leave it in my stainless steel bowl. But since I'm doing this for a video so that you guys will be able to see, that's the only reason pretty much why I use this clear container. So we're just going to add these oils in here before we get ready to combine our water loss solution. And I'm just going to make sure that we scrape everything out, since this is our entire recipe. And I hope you guys are enjoying this video thus far. I just wanted to come on here and just make something, since it's been a while since I've done a detailed video. I just wanted to come on here and just kind of do a little detailed video about making cold processed soap and using clay in your soap. So here we are. All right, so I'm going to check my temp again. Even though I just checked it, I'm pretty sure not much has changed, but we're just going to check it again. So we're down to 96. Let's see where we're at over here. We're at 107. So we're slowly coming down. I'm going to let this cool just a little bit more. I'm going to let my water loss solution cool just a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and combine them. So right now I'm just checking my temps again. And we're at 102. And I think we're just going to go ahead and mix these together. Then we're good to go. And 91. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mix them. So now, of course, if I was adding in essential oil, I would definitely probably wait until this one drops just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Alright, so now we're just going to pop our stick blender in here. Take this and just slowly pour it down. Take the water loss solution and just slowly add it into your oils. Be very careful not to make it splash, okay? Because this stuff will still bun you, and you don't want to get burnt. Alright? So now we're just going to stick blend this until we reach a light trace, because I have to add in my clay. Now, I like to add in my clays at trace. You don't have to add your clays at trace. You can definitely add them in before you add in your water loss solution. So, again, I like to do mine at trace. So, I'm just going to stick blend this until I reach a very light trace. All right, so yep. All right, so we're good. So now I'm just going to add in my clays. Now the clays is pretty much going to give us a, when you're adding clays, it's definitely an alternative to using micas. The only downside is you don't have the very extremely bright neon colors. However, you can still end up with some very beautiful colors. Right here, I'm just going in with 1 teaspoon, 1 large teaspoon of powder clay. So, and you just do 1 teaspoon per pound of oils whenever you incorporate clays. Now, do keep in mind that when adding clays does have the tendency to absorb liquid and stuff, so just keep that in mind. Now, I'm just going to stick blend this until it gets blended up. And it will also speed up your trace too. So keep that in mind if you're going to be using clays and essential oils together. So just keep that in mind whenever you use the two. And I might even throw in a little bit of poppy seeds in here just to give it a little bit more color. But I'm just going to continue stick blending this until I get it incorporated together. Can y'all see that pink? Probably not. My lighting is, I'm gonna invest in me a ring light one of these days. But it's very rare that I soap in the evening times or at night. So that's why I have not invested in one yet. Now let me get my poppy seeds. And then I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit in there. I don't want too much, just something to give it kind of like a little bit of, a little bit. We're gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna get ready to pour this into our mold. Again, this is just a little something to go in there. And do keep in mind, like I said, the color of your oils, of course, will affect how your soap turns out. So now we're just gonna pour this into our loaf here. And I am going to cover this. Y'all know I love to cover my soaps. I love to put them, well, not put them, but I love for my soaps to go through gel phase. So I just cover mine and I will set it, just leave it on my table overnight and just let it do its thing. All right, so I think I pretty much got all we can get out of there. Now we are just going to tap this. And now I'm not worried about the top. This soap will be from my youngin, from my daughter. So I'm just gonna leave the top be. And we're just going to cover it up. As a matter of fact, I might even sprinkle just a little bit more poppy seeds along the top or something. I don't know. You can put whatever you like on the top. I'm just going to, you probably can't even see those, but let me just do a little bit more. And I think I just dropped some all over my floor. Okay, I don't like that at all. But again, I'm not selling this. This is for my daughter. So there we are. All right, so now we're just going to cover this up and then we'll see what she looks like in the morning. All right, y'all, so I couldn't help myself. I am going to do something with the top. I know I said I wasn't, but again, I just couldn't help it. So exactly what I'm going to do, I don't know. Maybe something as simple as this. Now I like that a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. A little bit better. Okay, so now I'm going to cover this up and let it sit overnight on my table. All right, y'all, so here we are the next day. And I like to let my soap sit for about 24 hours unless I just so happen to get busy, and then they'll sit for about 48 hours or so. I definitely try to get to them, you know, within that 48-hour mark for sure, because I don't want it to be too hard to unmold. So we're just gonna take this out and see if we got a full gel or not. And this is what it looks like so far. All right, so here we are with our soap. And from the looks of it, we got a full gel. So now let's see what it looks like on the inside. And while I cut this soap up, I'm going to have my Instagram linked down below. So if you guys want, you can definitely follow me on Instagram. I did change my name so that way it'll be a lot easier for people to find us, because it was just our business name. However, I did change our Instagram name to 3 Brothers and a Sister Soap, with the underscore in between each word. In between, well, the number 3, then there's an underscore, then brothers underscore, and so on and so forth. So, but you can follow me on Instagram, and whatever requests, video requests you might have, definitely DM me your requests. That way I can keep up with them and they won't get lost on YouTube in the comment section. So again, you can follow me on Instagram and just DM me on Instagram whatever video requests you might have. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit so that way you guys can see better. So now we're just going to cut this. And if you don't have one of these soap cutters, they're actually pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that really good or not, but it does tell me like the however many like inches and so on and so forth. I think that's inches. Is that inches? No, that is not inches. Is that inches? Inches or centimeters? Okay. It may be. It gotta be. It is inches. Okay, it's inches and centimeters on there. All right, I'm looking at that thing. Y'all don't mind me. Just pretend that you didn't even hear that. But this right here is the inches and this right here is the centimeters. So there right there, it lets me know, like, you can set that however to whatever thickness you want your bars to be, and just cut. So, and yes, we did get a full gel, and I added a few poppy seeds. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want it to, you know, be just over the top with the poppy seeds. I just wanted a few to come through. So, and here we are. So I'm just going to finish cutting these up, which is only a few of them. Again. And I probably should turn it on its side. So yeah, I need to turn this on its side. So with these poppy seeds on there, I don't know if you can really see that, but we have a few drag marks. That you don't want. So just remember that if you have anything on the top, any like salts or anything like that, you just want to turn your soap on its side so that when you cut it, you won't have like those drag marks on there. So you see the difference in my 2 bars. Hopefully my camera hopefully it's picking that up. But yeah, other than that, the soap is very pretty. And I did not scent this. I don't think I mentioned that yesterday. There's no scent to this. This whole loaf will be going to my daughter. This is hers. So yeah, this loaf is unscented, and it's the French pink clay. All right, so now I'm just lining my soaps up to stamp them. And if you are new to my channel, which I've said this a couple of times, if you're new to my channel, I like to stamp my soaps. Even if it's something that we're just using around the house, I still just love the way that it looks. And I will have all the details as well as the link to where I ordered my soap stamp from in the description down below. And I like to place saran wrap in between my soap, saran wrap, clean wrap, clear plastic, whatever you have on hand, in between my soap and my stamp, so that way when I go to stamp it, there's no soap in my little letters here on my stamp. So just take it, press it down. Some people use a mallet. Some people spray theirs, you know, spray their stamp with alcohol. I don't do any of that. All I do is just press it down, put the saran wrap down, and just press, and it comes out just fine. And here we are. This is our French pink clay soap. And that is all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a thumbs up. And if you have not done so already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And to all of our wonderful subscribers out there, we appreciate you guys so much. See you guys later.